Recently, we have all been shocked by horrendous cases of child abuse. Baby Shanoa is now on life support after repeated beatings. The officers on the front line who have to investigate these cases face incredible mental stress. This work can really take a toll. I went to talk with one officer who has spent 15 years investigating crimes against children. Their stories and their faces haunt us. Innocent children, victims of horrendous crimes. Most recently, baby Shanoa. She's now on life support after repeated beatings. Doctors discovered Shanoa had 20 broken bones. Then, early last month, police say Christopher Rains held a gun to his infant daughter's head right in front of the baby's mother and pulled the trigger. With each of these crimes, there are those who must first respond and then investigate.
I did ask for the police report, and I was going to see maybe you could do a follow-up on that.
I can do that.
Detective Dita Dow spent 15 years working crimes against children. She investigated everything from online child solicitation to child abuse, abduction, pedophile cases, and yes, homicide. Now she's working pawn shop detail, but her previous assignment is very much a part of her.
Unimaginable things that you can't even imagine people doing to another human being, much less a child.
Dow was one of about a dozen officers working crimes against children. She says it changes you as a parent. You become very protective of your own children. It also changes you as a human being. Many don't last.
Not just anybody can do it. A lot of times you have somebody who wants to work in there, but they get in there and just for whatever reason are not able to handle the content.
That group in particular is exposed to much more stress than the normal public, much more than officers in general too, because they're called out to investigate horrific crimes.
Dr. Troy Rogers is part of a special unit that provides counseling for officers. He says those working crimes against children can face severe sleep problems, substance abuse, domestic violence, and even suicide.
Police officers come into this field, more often than not because they want to help people. And when you're kind of investigating after the fact, in some ways you feel kind of helpless.
There are cases that impact a detective to the very core. For Dow, it was the murder of 3-year-old Ty Toribio. Police say his mother, 23-year-old Tiffany Toribio, admitted to suffocating Ty at Alvarado Park in May, then reviving him, murdering him again, and burying his body in the playground.
There are so many people out there that want children and can't have children. He was a beautiful, beautiful child. Sorry. And anybody would have taken that child. Anyone. And I have no sympathy for her whatsoever.
Dow says working pawn shop detail is a welcome break, but at times she is challenged to find meaning. She says stolen items can be replaced or returned. Injured or murdered children cannot. Now, Mike, Detective Dow says there's really a sad aspect of her job, and this is when she sees a victim years later and they have become the offender. Right. So this cycle does continue.
Well, you can just see the emotion that we just saw a moment ago, and I can imagine if you're in this job, boy, you better get a lot of support at work and at home.
Some of the things that they teach these officers is to be very supportive by your family, and also to make sure you have friends outside of the police force. And then a third thing that Dita does with some of her cohorts, they meet once a week for breakfast and they just talk.
Good idea. Good idea. Good story.